Welcome you guys, Rolling Heavy here. Today I'm working on an 05 S80 and I've seen a lot of the fuel rail setups being completely different on this one from what I watched, and some of these guys just don't know what they're talking about. They shall remain unnamed, but they said when I watched this video it said it would work for this car, but it didn't. Very similar, but you got two bolts here. Those are T30s. And to get to that one here, I removed this one and this one, which is T25. You got a little T10 here, which if you look, that's where the fuel line is. It's not under here, so you don't have to remove the timing cover. And you got a little sensor right there you're going to want to replace right here. Or not replace, but pull off. And then you're probably just going to unclip this sensor here, and in theory your whole fuel rail should pop right out. Just be careful you're not tugging on any other wires that you see connected to it, if there is any. These are 10 mils. Yeah guys, that's that. I'm going to pull my injectors out and clean them. My car had some bad gas in it. It was running good, but it would stall out on me. I drove it back from New York, 9.5 hours, stalled like 60 times. Every time I would restart though, it would start back up. Pulled the fuel filter. It was filthy. Replaced that. Ran great for a couple days. Now it's at a half a tank and will not start. So I don't have the special tool to remove the fuel pump right now, so that'll be later. So I'm going to start with this. But today it started right up. Ran for like 3 minutes and died. So I'm going to go this route first and then see where it lands. Thanks for watching, guys. Please like and subscribe. Hopefully this kind of helped you. Also, I wanted to add, you got to be careful pulling this bitch out. There's a little tab right there. Trying to see. There you go. Right there, that tab. That's what you want to push up and pull up at the same time. Don't forget to release the pressure off your Schrader valve. Alright, so the fuel rail is out, and as you see, it has that style that you have to remove. It's like the fuel injector retainer. It's 2 or 3 of them? 3 of them. Sorry, the lighting's shitty. One there, they're T20. And then one of these plastic O-ring retainers came off on me. On that one right there, as you see. Be careful not to lose that. I'll worry about putting it back on later. I'm going to clean it anyway. And I did have to remove that timing cover just to get a better grip on that sensor. And this one you don't have to first say remove because it's attached to the fuel rail. But I did anyway. Alright guys, continuing with our injector cleaning. I bought this little thing. It was $12.99. It comes with little alligator clips, little end that plugs right into the injector. They give you two different sizes. That way, depending on the injector that you have. And also they give you 2 different sizes of little spray adapters. With the O-ring on, it sits right up top, like that. Get your carb clean. And you don't want to push it, you don't want to bottom it out in there because it just blows back more than it blows in. Just bring it out like a ½ inch away from the very end and just spray as it hooks up. I wouldn't leave it hooked up, the injector hooked up for too long. I mean, max 10-15 seconds. You probably don't need more. If you want to do it in spurts, that's probably fine, but there's a controversy. People say it hurts the injectors to leave the power hooked up, which makes sense because you don't want to overheat the solenoid that's in that, yada yada yada. But as long as you're not leaving it on there for more than 10-15 seconds, you shouldn't do any harm. I did it yesterday to my other injector, it worked fine. So without further ado, and also you don't want, you see a lot of guys homemaking this, and I started building one at work, but it just was taking me too long. But I had some pieces of plastic PVC tubing reducing sizes, and I was glued them and shrink wrapped them. But as soon as you put this in here, you don't want it sealed tight because the amount of pressure there's not much volume in this little tube, so this carb clean's pushing out a lot of pressure, so you don't want that to be tight, you want it to be a little loose. Hook up your alligator clips and make sure that you're ready when you got your shit hooked up. Like I said, you don't want to be overheating anything. I'm going to try and get a good view of this for you guys. Seems like she's spraying pretty good. And that's with the old screening too. I didn't want to sit there and put a brand new screen in and then just blow it through. I didn't want to damage it, so. But yeah, that's pretty much $12.99 on Amazon. Like literally, I spent like 2 hours trying to make a tube assembly and some alligator clips and wire and hold everything together. This is effortless. You ain't got to worry about holding 2 little alligator clips inside here short. You don't want. This is nice because you got all the rubber insulating and nothing's gonna be touching anything. You're not gonna short nothing out. So it's a nice little tool. 12 bucks. Amazon, guys. You want to clean your injectors? Do that. And now we are going to be replacing the screen inside here. If you don't have the injector screen remover tool, which I heard is expensive, and I heard it's a number 10 sheet metal screw you want. I don't have that, so I'm improvising. The screw's a little bit bigger, so I'm not going to bury it in there. Put it in there a little bit, make sure she's nice and snug. And then I see a lot of guys put it on the ground with a pair of pliers here and pulling up with their feet. Well, the pliers I have at home are not, well, I don't have any good channel or vice grips at home, so what I'm making do with is some tile snippers, and it works just as fine. Give it a little rocky rock. Might have to twist it in a little bit. When I did this earlier, it pulled some of the chunks of the screen out. Just nice and easy. You're replacing the screen, so you don't want to worry about hurting it too much, but you still want to be able to get the screen out there. And there she is. As you can see, sorry for the weird flickering, bad lighting in my garage. I need a flashlight so you guys can see this. You can see the color difference in the cleanliness of the screen. Trying to get it to focus. But yeah, you can clearly see there's a big difference. And how I put it back in, just put her right in there. And then I took it right to the bench. Push down. And we got ourselves a new screen in the injector. Would you look at that? Just look at it. I'm going to do the O-rings. And a lot of guys I heard a lot of guys don't do the pintle cap replacements. I'm trying to find my camera here. They don't do the pintle cap replacements. The kit I purchased from injectorrehab.com. I'm not gonna even try and focus this. I did earlier and it wasn't working. But either way, it was like 25 bucks, including shipping. I think it was like, for all 5, it was like 15 bucks. But it comes with a pair of O-rings for each injector, pintle caps, and the screen. So you might as well just do the pintle caps. And I was worried about them not snapping back on, but they just snapped right back on with ease, so I advise it. I mean, for the couple bucks, what's it gonna hurt? And even though Volvo doesn't even replace pintle caps when servicing these older T5 engines, from what I hear on the forums, don't know how much fact there is to that, but I'm gonna do it anyway. So, all right, so I'm gonna do this 3 more times, and then we'll be able to put this rail back in and do the fuel pump. Alright guys, now all the injectors are cleaned. They all have new screens and they are locked into the rail in moments. There are 3 little screws holding our plate that holds the injectors in place. And then we're going to stick them in. Yes, I have a glove on because I had a cut on my finger, and when I was spraying that carb clean earlier, it felt so good, I had to put a glove on. But now that I'm done with that, I don't need that. This guy here. I'm missing a piece of that here. This had a little bit of tape because this had to sit for a few days. Didn't want any residual water to get in here. Oh, don't do that. This piece here, right here, it also has the locking grooves. So I have to take these guys off here so I can put this through my grooves. Don't be like me and do that. So now we got that fuel line connection properly installed, or not forgotten about, I should say. And now, and I would be doing this if I had some, but I would advise maybe spraying some brake clean into your injector holes right before you go to do it, so they all slide right in there easily. Hopefully we're gonna be good here. I just don't feel like running to the store for 1 can of brake clean. I might end up doing it. Alright, this is. Or just use carb clean, because that just all popped in. I don't know if you heard it, but she all popped in right where she needed to be. Fuel line feels secure. Put this bad boy back on. That was the little baby, I think it was the T10. Nope. It was the T15. There she is. I feel like this intercooler pipe is completely blocking a lot of the view. Yeah, there she is. A little better, but a little late in the game, but honestly, most of the shit you were missing wasn't too crazily important. So those two. Pop this guy off after I get the right thingy here. These. like I said before, removing this timing cover to unhook this little sensor, it's not required, but I'll tell you this, personally, it made it a lot easier. And let's not forget the last finishing touches. Alright folks, that is how you service your fuel injectors, cleaning, changing the O-rings, and pinto cap screens. Hope you all enjoyed, possibly learned something, had a laugh. Now you have a reason to make fun of somebody at work tomorrow, whatever it may be. Please like and subscribe. And please stick around, and we will be doing the fuel pump shortly. Alright guys, welcome back. Now we're doing the fuel pump. And as you see here, we have the special fuel pump tool to move this bad boy. Ooh! I'll tell you, these fuel pumps, around they're tight. These fuel pump rings, I should say. Okay. Yeah, this is where the good part gets. An access hole, so I'm curious if I got the right fuel pump. Alright, so I do not have the wrong fuel pump. I just found the hidden access door. So I got to remove this seat, those two bolts there, probably that seat belt bracket, and then we can actually get the pump out. That's just the sending in over there. But first glance, I don't see anything else, so I figured I had the wrong pump, but we're okay still. I apologize that I was not able to videotape the actual act of me putting in the fuel pump, but really wasn't too much room in here. But when you're pulling the wires off the fuel pump itself, I mean, there's not a lot of room to work with, and what I was doing, I was like pulling up on the lip of the hole to get some of the lines to move out of the way so I can get the ring in there, because there's like no clearance. It's very tight in there, and you don't want to be, especially putting the, pulling the old one out, you don't give a fuck, you just yank it out, it's gonna break, you're replacing it. But putting the new one in, you got to be a little more gentle, because you break one of those plastic fittings where the fuel line goes, guess what? You're buying a whole other $200 fuel pump or whatever it's going to cost you. So just be gentle, take your time, be patient, just finesse, work it in there. I had to wiggle it around, and as you see, I have a fucking wire. I just cut some Romex and tied it to the other one when I pulled it through, so I could just fish this right back through. It worked like a dream, no issues there. One other thing I wanted to state as well, when you're putting that new fuel pump in, I tilted the plunger down so you can put that plunger in first, bring it in like this, and then rotate it up, and then as you pull that wire, don't sit there and yank your line through, just help feed your fuel pump as you're pulling the line. So we're going to plug that center unit in, button all that up, put that armrest on, which is actually, I pulled the seat off, which was a 14, 15, you got one there, and wherever, oh, the nut goes there. 14, 15, and a 17 to pull that out. And this thing has like this, I'll show you when I put it back together. Oh, right here, it's like a, it's a push tab. Get a better view here. It's a push tab, and that sits right in there. So once you unbolt this bolt, right there, that one, you just push in that pin, pops right up, no issue. All right, so the moment of truth, and I'm gonna cycle my key a few times before I actually try to start it, just so it kind of builds up some pressure. So after doing some research and tearing apart my car looking for fuse panels and relays, I discovered that S80 does not have a fuel pump relay. It has a fuel pump control module, otherwise known as a PEM, and that's what went bad. Alright guys, so this is the old PEM, or fuel pump control module, and as you see right there, that's burnt. You see the fucking corrosion everywhere, and then if you look closely, right in the center there, underneath, focus, underneath that diode, there's a little bit of fucking corrosion as well. And then you can see in there, those are all fucking corroded going to the plug end. So we got a new one right there. Cool, phone's not focusing today. There you go. There's our brand new one right here. Sales price is like, through my work, is like $500. I got it for $250, which is cool. So yep, that's our new one. We're gonna throw that on, and this car should start. Well, ladies and gents, run. Yeah, I don't have an exhaust leak. I have like no exhaust. Look at that shit. Alright, so there's one piece there. And then